Welcome back to Florida TRD. Today I'm going to be reviewing and showing you guys how I installed the CBI off-road ditch light brackets and Rigid Industry D2 driving lights. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start off in the cabin. So I mounted the switch down here in that empty spot down at the bottom. It is wired to illuminate, when the lights come on, which I need to get my keys out of my pocket. Okay, so it does come on and illuminate with windshield lights, and then when you click to power on, then the windshield light symbol obviously illuminates. Pretty cool, right? So that is the switch. Wiring it up on the inside is pretty easy. You do have to take obviously the door sill trim piece off here, and then the kick panel here. And once you take that stuff off, then it'll allow you to pull the weather stripping back and then pull this trim piece back to gain access to all that. Alright, so then the actual brackets themselves, like I said in the beginning of the video, they are ditch light brackets. So they're actually meant to mount lights to illuminate the ditch off to the left and right of the vehicle. I'm utilizing them as windshield light brackets. So as you can see, those are aimed pretty well straight ahead. So I have not aimed them perfectly, but I kind of eyeballed them. I installed them yesterday, and then I'll go through and aim them perfectly either tonight or tomorrow or something like that. So super easy to install. I definitely recommend using 2 people when you do this, because you're going to have to take bolts out of the hood in order to mount it. So I'm doing this so you guys can see this edge right here. As you can see, it's perfect. That was the biggest thing when I was looking at this, is that people were having all these install issues, like where their hoods were mashed up and weren't sitting flush or anything like that. I mean, mine's flush and looks just like how Toyota had it from the factory. So how you accomplish that is quite simple. So that's how they install, and that's how they should be done. It should be bracket, then the hood bracket, and then the actual hood itself. You can see here I've marked it with paint on the outside, and then I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'm gonna try. I use paint on the inside too to mark it, so that way I kind of had coverage everywhere. But that's all you do is mount that. As you can see, it does get pretty close to the body when you open the hood, but you're still good there. And then I just ran the wire in between the wiper cowling down the strut, and then used the Rigid Industries harness and bunched up the excess right there and attached it to that harness, and then ran my wires over the other side following that harness. Being my connection there. Same thing, split in between the wiper cowling, then you come up and then all set. So, I mean, pretty simple install. I did not mark the outside on this side, I only did the inside, and once I did one side, then that's when I realized, holy shit, you know, it's kind of hard to see with that bracket in there. So then that's when I decided to mark the outside of it. So here's what you got to do in order to get around the hood sitting up. If you look right here, you can see that I've kind of bent that. And how you bend plastic is, obviously, you heat it up. Just not that big of a deal. Did the same thing on this side. A little deformed. Let me throw a little light on there just in case. Looking at the backpack, it doesn't look like it's illuminated very well. There we go. So as you can see, I've heated it up, I've deformed it a little bit. And that's all you got to do. Go back over the other side so you guys can see that one properly, because I don't know if it was lit very well. So there you go. Super simple. So all you have to do is mount your brackets, Definitely recommend 2 people, like I said, because once you take the 2 bolts out of it, the hood's gonna want to move away because it'll pressure on one side, yada yada yada. Only do one side at a time. So once you mount your brackets and everything's lined up well and you're happy with your hood realignment and stuff like that, then all you're gonna have to do is, with the hood open, heat gun this area. And don't go crazy and heat this whole area. Just be very specific of where you put the heat, and heat gun it to the point to where it looks like it's almost liquid. This plastic is very strong, so it does take a while for it to get that hot. But once you do so, then you'll be able to close the hood. And once you close the hood, then you'll press down on this area here where the bracket attaches, and you'll be able to put pressure on that plastic, and that'll force that down because it'll be hot, it'll be, you know, somewhat pliable, and you'll be able to mold it to fit. I did remove this trim piece right here, which is kind of hard to see, so let me get my light back out again. Sorry guys. So that trim piece that's sitting on top that runs up the wiper cowling and then up a little section of the windshield, and then my backpack just went out again. I need to really fix that because that is annoying. So that piece right there at the bottom, right behind the light itself, you remove that 100% and then you mold the light around it. So that way it's good to go. You won't be deforming that plastic piece at all. See, that one looks good. It goes over and covers it, and that's what you see really on the outside. So you can do that and deform that plastic, and you're not really going to notice anything. So remove that, heat it, do one side at a time, close the hood, put pressure on it, hold that pressure for, I don't know, 10 seconds or so, because the plastic is going to harden, going to solidify up pretty quick, and then you're good to go. So you do that several times until the hood sits flush, and then you're done. That's it. You don't have to cut anything like I saw on some of the T4R guys or hacking this thing up. No need to hack it up, because if you hack it up and say you take the lights off, now you have a hacked up cowling, versus I can take my brackets off and then close my hood and it's like it never happened, because you're not making any adjustments to the actual hood or anything like that. You're just deforming the wiper cowling to get it out of the way. So too easy, guys, too easy. So we'll close that. Show you guys the lights real quick. Now, how I wired these is, well, actually Donnie wired them, but how we chose to wire them is to wire them directly off the battery. And we do that for many reasons. A, it makes things easier to wire. But more importantly, now I can go to campsite or something like that, and I can turn my lights on for setting up camp or illuminating whatever the hell I need to see, and I can take the keys out of my truck, lock my truck, and just walk away. I don't have to think about leaving my keys in the ignition, possibly locking my keys in my truck or something like that. So it makes life too easy if you do it that way. Now these pull very low power, so you really don't have too much to worry about. Like I said, I haven't aimed them or anything like that. I am also going to probably loosen this side, keep this side a little bit snug, and then try to rotate the light to get that offset. Because like I said, they are ditch light brackets, sorry. So you will see a little bit of an angle to kind of aim the pods down towards where the ditch would be. But like I said, I'm not utilizing them for that. So let me see here. You can kind of see how it's off a little bit. I mean, it's not really that noticeable, but it is a little bit. So like I said, wired directly straight to the battery, so I can turn them on whenever I want to. You have to be very careful about the type of switch you choose. Rigid does ship a switch and harness with it. The harness is good. I'm going to get to a problem with the harness, which is minute, but definitely is worth mentioning. But the switch has to be able to handle the power the lights are going to draw. There's a lot of switches out there that are only rated for a few amps. These lights pull 2.5 amps each, so that's a total of 5 amps. Rigid ships their harness with a 15 amp fuse already in it. A little on the high side, but hey, crazier things have happened. Maybe when it gets really hot, the resistance increases and then that draws more power. Not 100% certain why they would do that when you could do a 10 and that's double the power that both of the lights pull. But hey, whatever, I didn't engineer the thing. But yeah, picking your switch, because if you're going to wire it without a relay like we did here, you're going to want a high power switch or something that can handle the amperage that the lights are going to pull. If not, then you're going to have to get a relay and wire it that way. So that way you're only sending the power that's only a few amps. Then that's what the switches are designed to handle, because they're literally just switching something, telling the relay to open power to the lights. Versus how I have it here is that once the switch completes the circuit, then the 5 amps that both of these lights pull go through the switch and then come out to the lights. The switch I used, just like the video that's on our channel, is Over the River and Through the Woods. That switch is rated for 20 amps. So we're more than good enough. We're 4 times the power that both of these lights are going to pull. So you got no issues there, and that's one of the reasons why I choose that. And also, as you can see, the switch installs very cleanly. All I had to do was remove one of those dummy covers. And once you remove the dummy cover, then all you have to do is use a Dremel and lightly open it just a little bit. And that's because the locking tabs on it are pretty large, so they actually won't fit through that hole. So you just open it up a little bit and boom, you're good. And I'll show you guys again the switch. You can see, it looks like it's supposed to be there. You know, I did open it up a hair too much on that side. I don't know if you can see it, but you know what? No one's gonna see it unless I point it out to them, so I really don't give a shit. So, all in all, it's an awesome setup. Have 0 complaints. I'm glad that I went this route and didn't go something else, because A, gave me an opportunity to share with you guys how easy these lights are to install, and you don't have to worry about the whole hood thing like so many people were crying about, how they had to do this and cut that. Let's face it, guys, these are brand new trucks. None of us want to go out and chop them up, especially if you can do the install correctly, right? So, to the things I don't like. Like I said, the Rigid gives you a harness that comes with their kit. Well, here's the problem with that. And as you can see, you have red with, looks like a piece of shrink tubing over it, and then black with a red tracer. Problem is that the harness that you get with it is red, black, and blue. So from my automotive experience being a technician, I would think that it would be red power, black ground, and blue signal, right? Makes sense. So, you know, I really think that they should update that they should update their instructions, because what if you were just, you know, opening this up for the first time and you're like, you know, I'm gonna make this my first wiring project or something like that, and you've hooked it up according to their instructions? Yeah, it's not gonna work. So that kind of sucks that they didn't get that right, but it is what it is. I just wanted to point it out to you guys so you guys know going into it that the instructions that I received were not right. So that's something that I would look into. So I don't know. And then looking at this, I also noticed that it says dually D2 are 10 amps single and 15 amps as a pair. That's interesting too, because when you look at the specs, I don't know if the specs are on the box or not, but they tell you, yeah, right here. So D2 driving, so second column, right? Amp draw, 2.5. Interesting. So, I don't know. I'm just nitpicking at this point, but hey, whatever. So that's something I don't like, is the fact that you guys out there might not have the experience that I have or Donnie have, or other install technicians, and say you want to tackle this as your first install, because in reality, other than the hood, lining up the hood again, this is a super easy install. This is the diagram that comes with the Over the River and Through the Woods switch, and it makes it super easy. Remember that this is looking at the face of the connector, so these are the terminals, not the wires coming out of it. Common misconception, but if you've been working on cars and looking at wiring diagrams for a while, you know this to be fact. But hey, I'm just throwing it out there so you guys know. But Over the River and Through the Woods does a great job giving you this, because you just literally look at it and bam, it makes life too easy. And hey, all their stuff is labeled correctly. So that's that, guys. If you have any questions, post it up in the comments. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. I hope I covered everything. But yeah, definitely rock out with these guys. And I will show you night shots of these after I get them aimed and all that stuff, and I'll do a full what my current lighting setup is, which obviously isn't anything special, just HIDs, the upgraded LED fogs, and then these bad boys. So yeah. Also, if you're debating about looking at these versus doing like a light bar or something like that, there are a lot of different light bar options as far as hybrids that have floods as well as spots and whatever. When I had my Jeep, I had a Vision X flood bar on the front bumper, and then I had these mounted on the windshield. And I used the D2 drivings more than anything because they are kind of like a hybrid light themselves. They incorporate a great spill, but projecting far. So going back to the box, driving is the center column. You can see the pattern as far as how far it throws. So if you look at C, that's the measurement in meters. So C, second column, 285 meters. So you're almost 3 football fields is the beam distance at a quarter of a lux. So, 3 football fields, huh? That's what you want. So that's just from my experience. Obviously, when on the trail, a flood LED bar can make a huge difference in your visibility because you can see what's in front of your vehicle immediately and not have to worry about what's directly in front of it, because you're going to have literally your own portable sun right in front of your truck. But when driving on the backcountry roads and stuff like that, and even on the trail, I still use these more than I use my flood bar because they did such a good job of putting light out directly in front of the truck, but through light far, so I could see what was immediately in front of me and what was coming up. So just figured I'd throw that out there. Sorry this video is so long, but there's a lot of different things to talk about. So if you guys have any questions, post it up in the comments, and if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Thanks.